Thank you. Yeah. All right. Y'all sit down. You're going to get Holcomb in trouble. He knows there's a penalty for these things running late. Well, Mike Pence, I'll get back to you in just a second, but that was awfully nice. That was excessively so. Once again, you are a sight to see. We are enormously grateful for your citizenship and your love of this state and for your being here tonight. This dinner is a little different for me from all those others we've had in one respect, which is I'm supposed to be babysitting. There's that first grandchild finally showed up in the Daniels family, and Sherry's with her tonight. And I'm happy to tell you that the epidemic I always hoped would sweep through the sorority has begun, and so daughter number 2's pregnant now, and we're dropping big hints on daughter number 1. And then to top it off, last weekend, daughter number 4 got engaged. Fine young man. I was telling Kevin Smith earlier on, this is sort of interesting that some of the younger people won't know this musical illusion, but so the girls were fluttering around. Oh, Maggie, how'd he do it? Oh, how'd he do it? So she says, well, I walked in and our favorite tune was playing. That was the first sign that, something was up. Oh, what's your favorite tune? Well, strangely to me, it's an oldie. Huh? She said it was Cupid by Sam Cooke. Some folks will remember that song. It fell to me to inform young Stephen, the new fiance. I said, Stephen, I don't know if you know this, but you should, that Sam Cooke was shot to death by his wife later on in life. So just thought I'd mention, maybe it was more appropriate tune than you knew. I don't travel much. I got to stay pretty close to the ranch. But last week I did, as a favor to somebody who I felt I should do one for, I went over to Illinois. Spoke to some big dinner. They had a sellout record crowd over there, and it was in Champaign-Urbana, interestingly. I've said before, that if I ever have trouble sleeping, I don't have to count sheep. I count all the states I'm glad I'm not the governor of. So, of course, Illinois is at the top of that list. But I told those folks, we try to be good neighbors. We operate under a free trade policy. They send their governors to prison here. We send our Democratic legislators to hotels over there. Seemed like a reasonably fair exchange to me. They said, by the way, they said to thank everyone here. They said our folks going over and camping out in that hot tub for 37 days was the only good thing that's happened to the Illinois economy in the last several years. So they were very, very grateful. This sign behind here, you've seen now for the better part of 8 years at all these dinners. I don't know if anybody stops to read it, but I want to say to our guest that we're so thrilled to have tonight, the great governor of Virginia. You have come to a place, Governor McDonnell, where the Republican Party not only stands for things, but has embraced for many, many years a very special mission. We call ourselves the Party of Purpose to remind ourselves that elections are only a means to an end, that a party worthy of the name is not a social club, it is not an employment agency, and it is not simply a sports team operating in a different league. It is a mechanism for the recruitment, the election, and then the support in office of people who want to do good things for their town, their county, their state, or their nation. And we have always tried to remind ourselves, if we are not constantly thinking about and working toward the next improvement and the next reform in the lives of everyday people, then we are not worthy of public office, and somebody, by all rights, will replace us. And so tonight, as every day of the last 8 years, with enormous gratitude to so many friends in the room who have been instrumental in one achievement after another, we'll spend not a minute looking back, but always pointed forward. The little clock on my desk tells me that I have 264 days left in this job. Becky and I try to use every one of them. Everyone on our team knows. Every department in this government has very explicit assignments for this year, and we will follow them. We will build the roads we set out to build. We will conserve the land we set out to conserve. We will reform the systems which still may need it. We will press ahead every day. Indiana's going to have a tremendous governor in 265 days. He is going to do things that we had never even dreamed of. He is going to carry us to places that we didn't even attempt. We are just committed to getting him off to the fastest possible start. So I just want to say to you, Governor-to-be Mike Pence, that when you arrive, you will find a government that is working. You will find the shortest lines in any BMV in the country. You will find the fastest permitting, the fastest turnaround of tax returns. You will find a state administration in which people for 7 years alone in America, in public sector America, are compensated based on the quality of their performance, not just their longevity in the job. And it shows. We are determined to turn over you to the best business climate Indiana's ever had, and one of the 5 or 6 best in America. Enormous change from 7 years ago, and I hope that platform that you just talked about, from which we can move to a new era of opportunity and income and hope in this state. One thing will not be different about tonight. I will say to you, as I've said at every one of these dinners for 8 years, when we get together like this, it is not about the people in this room, as grateful as we are to you. We hold these dinners, we do what we do for the people who are not in this room, but would like one day to have enough money and enough opportunity to come to a room like this if it's their choice. That's what we do it for, and those are the people who will always be uppermost in our mind. And lastly, I will tell you that having dealt with the opposite situation as our speaker had to deal with a bankrupt state on his arrival, I've always been determined that whoever came next, regardless of party, we would not leave that sort of record behind. And so I can say with some confidence, because we're just 7 or 8 months away, when you get there, you will find a balanced budget. You will find a AAA credit rating, and you will find, after we have refunded money, because we're in such good shape, to every taxpayer in this state, you will find a surplus between $1.5 billion and $2 billion, so you have the flexibility to do whatever you want to do to make this a better place. We are the party of purpose. May we always remain so. And we always have to be looking for the next better idea and the next better leader. We have found that leader, that better leader, in Mike Pence. You know, if we're the party of purpose, there's some good books been written about purpose-driven lives. Well, if I know a purpose-driven person, in the way he lives his life and in the way he approaches his duties wherever they lead him. It's Mike Pence. You're going to be a great governor, Mike, and I just can't wait to see you get started. Every governor who's any good at all is a terrific plagiarist. A beauty of our federal system is that at any one time there are 50 different, as we sometimes say, laboratories out there at work. And if you're not too dense and you're not too proud to look around, there's always somebody who's found a better way to do something or an idea that didn't occur to you. And I'll tell you that I sought out a couple people like that, and I watched every day of these years, still doing it, for some better mousetrap that we could steal and apply in Indiana. And if you're looking, Mike, for a great example and a great tutor and a great mentor, you don't have to look any further than this table in front of me. One of America's very finest governors is with us tonight. He is by now already delivered more public service than most people will in a lifetime, and he's still a very young guy. He has served in our military, active duty and reserve for more than 2 decades. As Greg mentioned, he was an outstanding Attorney General of his state, well regarded among his peers, and now one of the nation's most successful governors. He is our leader of the Republican Governors Association, and somehow finds time for national leadership even as he's doing so well by his own state. I know that he will give full credit, as he should, for all these achievements to his Indiana education because he studied at Notre Dame University. Otherwise, I doubt he'd amounted to anything in life. Please welcome the great governor of Virginia, Bob McDonnell.